Yeah, knowing that it's human. It's a human disease. If you're human, you could get it.
Monday you were diagnosed with AIDS, HIV, and Friday you were dead.
We can live a wonderful life and we can do whatever we want to do as long as we're taking care of ourselves. I wake up and I take 1 pill a day. That's the difference from me and somebody that's HIV negative. That's it.
A lot of people showed up to take care of us, but we took care of each other for the most part through all this.
You don't have to be gay.
I could show you pictures where there's 14 of us in a picture and 2 of them are still alive today.
So I hope people see this and realize we're still here. We didn't have the internet, so I wasn't able to verify that or look it up, and I just said, oh, that's ridiculous. There's no sexual disease that kills you. You know, all we knew is that if you got gonorrhea, you got a shot. Syphilis, you took a pill. You know, nobody worried about anything. And the idea of a fatal venereal disease, where I was in Chicago, nobody believed it. Well, in the next 2 years, we believed it.
Ronald Reagan. He let millions of people die that didn't need to die. He did. He let people die that didn't need to die. Well, let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
Bobby Stainsbury, I grew up in West End of Davenport, West 4th Street. I had one mom and one dad, and they were straight. I love straight people. Of course, we were all, young, it ain't gonna get me, it ain't gonna get me. Yeah, the people I came out with, we're all, and we started scattering across the country. I'm moving. So where did we move to? We moved to the big cities. And this is still going on. And I moved in I think it was 1983, 84. I moved to Dallas, Texas, and I should remember these dates, but I don't. And yeah, we're down there, we're rocking it, we're having all the fun we want to have, being freaks, whatever you want to call it, doing drugs. Well, the next thing you know, we all got HIV and we all come back home. There was a place in Dallas that we could go, and AZT was just coming out. And so my boyfriend was one of the few that got it at Parkland Memorial Hospital in Dallas, Texas. When you took it, you take 4 pills every 4 hours. What's that, 32 pills a day? And my Kimmy, he would always say, Bob, they're poisoning me, they're poisoning me, they're poisoning. And literally that's what was happening, we were being poisoned.
Late 80s, there was a real popular nightclub in Chicago. It was kind of like a little Studio 54, if you will, off Halsted. And people would actually be in crowds outside waiting to get in. And the owner would arrive in his limousine on a Saturday night and get out and come through the crowd and greet, his favorite people. One Saturday night, I was there across the street watching the whole spectacle, and he got out of his limousine, and I saw him from the back get out, and he started walking toward, and I saw the crowd just part, like the movie 10 Commandments and the Red Sea parts. I was like, what is going on? Is he in drag or what? You know, what's going on? And I went over and looked, and he had Kaposi's on his face. And that, to this day, just sends a chill up my spine when I recall that, because I thought that is never going to happen to me. Never going to let anybody see that or treat me that way. And so, like I said, I tried everything I could do to hide it.
I will never forget when she told me I had AIDS, because I'll never forget how it was delivered. You never forget that. That's the scariest thing, the scariest thing. And if you haven't experienced trauma, this experience is traumatic. You know, mental health, this will do everything to your psyche, because I had the guilt and the shame of being in my 40s, you know, with this disease.
So I found out in 2017, I was 22 and pregnant with my second child. I actually found out at work. I was already a single mom to a son. I was working 2 jobs. And my doctor's office called me to come in, but like we already had an appointment scheduled for like a month or so away, and I just couldn't miss work. So I told them they could just, whatever it was, you can tell me when I get there. But I guess it was so important that the health department had to call me. And I told the health department lady she could come to my job, because nobody's thinking they're coming to you to tell you that you have HIV. And she tried to explain to me like it's not a death sentence anymore and da-da-da-da, but that hearing it's like it, and I didn't know anything about it. I just wasn't trying to hear what she had to say. And then I went back to work and I finished my shift, because if I went home, then what she just told me was real. Sweet.
So after Christmas, I was at work, middle of the night. I worked a 3rd shift, and she called me, but she wouldn't say anything. And my heart was like, I told her, I don't care what the F or what that doctor said to you. Whatever I'm thinking is worse than whatever they said to you. So please tell me, you know, what's wrong. And she said, they said I have HIV. And she started crying, I started crying, you know, and in my mind, you know, I'm a child of the 70s and the 80s, and so I felt like people were going to treat her wrong, and I felt like they weren't going to understand, and they weren't going to accept my baby, and they weren't going to treat her right. And I just could think of how people treated people in the 80s. And Destiny had you know, I have a person on my side of my family who had AIDS, and there was a person on her dad's side that had AIDS, and I watched how they treated him, you know, how they treated both of those people. And so that is what came to mind for me. But I had to go back to work, you know.
A lot of people showed up to take care of us, but we took care of each other for the most part through all this. Yeah, we did. When you go to a funeral every other day and it's your friend, like, and you know, and back then they seemed like they would, you know, you couldn't even get it. But my boyfriend Kimmy died. His name was Kimmy, K-E-M-M-Y. And when he died, we couldn't even get a funeral home to take him. It was horrible. So then, you know, this gay guy, guess what he is? He's a mortician. This gay guy, guess what he is? He's a limousine driver, you know. This guy, he's a preacher, a reverend, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, we all came together. Oh, this guy's a banker. Look what he's got. He's got some money to help us, you know. And all the drag queens in the community and bartenders and bar owners, everybody just came together, and we'd have big, huge shows, raise $80, $90, $150,000, you know.
Once I actually had to face the truth, I don't know, this is just the way my brain worked and dealt with it. Then I saw it in black and white, and there were medicines and there was a chance, then it was like, let's get it done.
I continue to advocate because as long as I help one person, that's all that matters. I love negative comments more than I love positive comments because it keeps them coming back. Like, yeah, it's negative, but at the same time, they're learning because they're reading my response as they're trying to argue with me. So sooner or later, they'll wake up one day and be like, dang, that girl's still living, so she must have been right when she was talking about the medicine change.
You know, I'll use my voice to help whoever needs it. So there's that.
Hey, my mom lived to be 100, almost 101, with things that I'm doing to try to be as healthy as I can. Even though I'm 67, I might have another 33 years. Jesus had 33 years. He got a lot done, you know.
We can live a wonderful life and we can do whatever we want to do as long as we're taking care of ourselves. I wake up and I take one pill a day. That's the difference from me and somebody that's HIV negative. That's it.
You never know what might happen. I'm supposed to live to be 100. My grandmother promised me if I promised her. Bitch, live to be 100.